Hello everybody, I hope everyone is doing well and welcome back. In today's video, I wanted to show you my updated no makeup look. I feel like I recently perfected it and ever since I've just been wearing this look. And also these types of looks are my favorite to wear when I'm going out in a boot because it just looks so effortless and it just gives off the vibes like, oh, I didn't know this was happening tonight, although I started getting ready at 9 a.m, let's be honest. I also have a live studio audience today. Maven's sitting back there and Charlie's currently in my living room. She wanted some alone time. She's watching the rescuers out there. It's so cute. I'm taking them to the groomers very soon. They just got back from the lake, so they've just been living their hippie lives. But anyways, before I get into the look, I would love for you to subscribe if you aren't already. It would mean so much to me, and let's get to it. For this look, feel free to use any products you have on hand. It's mostly technique based, I would say. But I'm first going to be going in with my SPF, and I'm using the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. I feel like this plays a good part because this one almost acts like a blurring primer, so especially if you have some texture going on or some healing acne, this one is pretty bomb. Honestly, all of the Supergoop sunscreens are amazing. The Glow Screen, the Play, and this one. And also this one's great because since we are going in with a lot of sheerer makeups, it's not going to leave a blue cast or any sort of cast at all. The next step I'd say is optional. Sometimes I skip it, some days I don't. I'm going to be going in with a skin tint. The one I'm going to be using is the MAC Studio Radiance Face and Body. I'm using the shade N1, and I'm first going to take a little bit on my fingertips in the areas I want a touch more coverage because this one does thicken up as you rub it in. I'm just going to be building that up in the areas I want it to be more filtered and corrected. Then I'm going to take some more on the back of my hand, and I'm actually going to be taking a brush to go everywhere else since I want a sheer veil, but I'm adding this because I want some filtering effects, and I'm using a MAC 170 brush. And with this entire look, just keep reminding yourself less is more. So if you go in with a teeny tiny amount of everything at first, you can always build it up. So you can see that it kind of just cut off all of the redness, added an all over glow, but you can still see my skin shining through there. And if you have fuller coverage foundations and things, and you don't have a skin tint on hand, you can mix it in with your SPF, or you can mix some into a hydrating primer and just make up a little concoction, and then you'll have your own little skin tint. So now for my concealer, I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Bright Fix Eye Brightener. I'm using the shade Golden Ivory, and I'm very much aware that this one is a bit light for my skin tone right now. I've just been testing this product out to see if I actually like it before I purchase another shade. But so far so good. I've been using this for about a week now, every day, and it's been treating me real good. So I might invest in another shade. I'm gonna take a tiny bit at first, and then I'm really going to press that under my eyes. Taking it up in this section right here, just because I have some blueness in there and I just wanna correct that. I prefer this over the Glossier Stretch Concealer. I'm a big fan of this because even though it doesn't add a ton of coverage, it just brightens up the under eye, but you can still kind of see through it and see your natural under eye texture and coloring, but it's just softened a ton. I'm really making sure to tap over the edges so there's no extreme line of demarcation or anything. I just want it to all flow. You can also go in with another concealer closer to your actual skin color to correct further if you feel like you need to. I'm going to forego that today just because I'm happy with this. I'm going to take some of my under eye powder from Pat McGrath just to set that in place, but I'm not going to powder anything else yet. Now it's time for bronzer. I'm going to be using my Patrick Ta Duo just because the cream side in here is perfect for this type of look because it is a sheerer cream. I have gone through it with picking out bronzers for this type of look because some of them just run a bit too opaque, if that makes sense, so it adds coverage and it just throws off the entire look. It always kind of stands off the face and it just doesn't mesh well. You can also go for a powder if you're more comfortable with that, but I'm going to be going in with a cream today just because I find that it wears really well in hotter climates. When I sweat, it doesn't ruin my entire base. I like to start off on my forehead just because I don't mind adding a bit more product up here since my hair covers a majority of it once it is down. By the way, the brush I'm using is this Melt Cosmetics 777 brush. Sadly, they discontinued it, but I hope they bring them back because this brush collection is phenomenal. But I like to use a tinier brush for this type of look because I feel like I can get a more detailed application that way. And for my bronzer on my cheekbones, I always apply it on my actual cheekbone, not in the hollow of the cheek, just so I get a lifted appearance, and it's also on the areas where I'd naturally get tanned from the sun. And if you tend to be a bit more heavy-handed, I have a trick at the end that softens everything. So if you feel like you added too much, do not stress. And there we are. I pretty much just amped up the natural tan I have going on right now. So now I'm going to be going in with a touch of highlighter, and I'm going to be using the MAC cream color base in the shade Pearl. And this is a very natural looking highlighter. When you really blend it out, it just leaves a little tiny sheen that I think is so perfect for this look. And I like to paint it on with my Moda, what is this, glow brush. Why can't I ever remember that? But I paint it on first, then I do circular motions, and I really expand the area when I do those circular motions, so it hits the entire cheekbone, kind of blending into that bronzer a bit, so it all just looks like one. And I also hit this area of my eye right underneath there, because when the light hits that, I find it to be so pretty. Most days I actually don't even go in with a highlighter, just because I do have an oilier skin type and I know it's just going to naturally occur in 30 minutes, but I just felt like adding it today. That's the fun thing about no makeup looks. You can sub things out if you're not feeling it. Now for blush, I kind of switched up the placement for this type of look. I recently came across a photo from last summer, I believe, where I really burnt myself, and I'm putting it to good use and I'm using that as a reference. I would recommend you using my photo as a reference and not going out there and getting your own. Always wear your SPF and reapply. But from that photo, you can see that I kind of burn right under my eyes in this area here, kind of like a W, but I don't bring the blush like a W all the way across. So where I like to concentrate it is right here. I kind of apply it in a straight line, just in this small area here, and I obviously like blend it out a touch. I'll just show you, and then I'll explain as I go. The blush I'm going to be using today is the Rare Beauty Nearly Neutral Melting Blush. And this is a really great color because it's a color that I would naturally turn to, whether I was burnt or on the way to being healed, or like a sunburn bronzy shade, any blush along those lines. I do have a video of all of my favorites. I can link it in the description. But what I do is I just apply it right here, kind of on top of my concealer and on top of my highlighter. And I'm using this brush right here. This is, what is this? Quo Beauty HD Foundation. It's like a smaller brush, and I just pat this in. I don't bring it all the way across, but I do add a touch on the bridge of my nose. And now, because it's a little bit extra and too extreme for me, I'm going to take a brush. This is a Royal & Langnickel Omnia Balm 270 brush. And I'm going to take a powder that has some tint to it. I'm going to be using my Kosas Cloud Set in the shade Feathery. And I'm going to sweep that under my eye and in this area right here. And what that's going to do, it's just going to calm everything down, make it look a lot more natural. And if you want a little bit crazy with your bronzer, now's the time that I would take a bigger brush and I would kind of set over the areas that I feel like I applied too much. So I'm gonna take some of that on my forehead, and it just filters it. For my brows, I'm just going to be taking my M Cosmetics brow cream in the shade Ebony. This is the perfect product if you want your brow routine to be really short. It's just the best. This is the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen. I'm using the shade Black. And I'm just gonna add some hair-like strokes in the areas where I feel are a little bit sparse. I don't love a sculpted brow, so the more fluffy and natural I can get it to look, the happier I am. Now I'm going to be moving on to my eyes, which isn't really the focus point of this look, I'd say. Sometimes I just skip the eyes entirely, but on days that I want to look a bit more put together, I'll first add some eyeshadow primer just to stop the oil from coming through all day. This is the NARS eyeshadow primer, the one without any color. Now I'm going to take a powder eyeshadow that is close to my skin tone, just a little bit deeper in color, kind of like a contour color, just to bring out my eyes a touch. I am just using this bronzer from Fenty, the powder bronzer in the shade Into Sun. You can use any face powder or bronzer. And I just slightly contour my eyes so they stand out a bit more. So I'll just bring this in the crease. And what I do on the bottom is probably not going to be everyone's preference, but I've just been liking it. I pretty much contour where my eye bag would be. So I follow these little lines I have under my eye, and I kind of go closer to my lash line over here, and I flick it out just a little bit to extend my eye. But I like to enhance the eye bag because I feel like it makes my eyes look bigger. And it looks kind of crazy when I don't have mascara on yet, but that's just what I do. And I picked up my cream color base from MAC again, which was the highlighter I used, and I put this in the center of my eyelid, which is kind of counterproductive because I put eye primer on to stop my eyes from looking oily, but then I add this again to bring back that naturally oily looking eyelid sheen thing. I kind of got lost in what I was doing and I lost my sentence, but you guys know what I mean, right? You guys know. And I also bring a tiny amount in the inner corner, really making sure to blend that in. So it's just a very subtle sheen. So now for my mascara. When I first tried this out on my channel, I really did not like it, but this is the Velour Pretty Big Deal mascara, and I didn't like this one because it didn't add any volume, it didn't really lengthen my lashes, it didn't really offer my lashes anything but a tint. But that tint is perfect for this kind of look because I just want to enhance my lashes, because when I look at them you can only see like the root and I would say the midpoint of my lash, but the rest of them are really fine and blonde. But I just want to really enhance what I naturally got, and this is a perfect mascara to do so. So I just softly run the wand through very quickly. Here, I'll bring you guys in a little bit closer. So what I do is I just put on the initial layer, then I take a spoolie, this is also from Velour. It's like a lash comb and a spoolie on the other side, but I really work this in so there's no clumps at all, and I really want to get that mascara onto my tips of my lashes where they're blonde. A brown mascara would be amazing for this, but I don't have one. So I'll settle for this. I just love this little technique because it just softens up the lashes, enhances them perfectly, but you can't really tell I'm wearing mascara, you know? Then I do the exact same for my bottom lashes. And there we are. There are the eyes all finished. Very floofy lashes. I love it. Now for my lips, I have two lip liners I go in with often. The first one is MAC Oak. This one's very similar to my natural lip color. It's just more on the brown side. And I have this other one, which is the M Cosmetics Fawn Soft Blur Velvet Lip Liner, which is also very close to my natural lip line, just a bit pinkier, more peach. Today I'm going to be going in with MAC Oak just to softly contour my lips. And I'm carefully adding a touch of that color to the outskirts of my lips so it looks more natural that way. And then finally, I go in with either one of these. This is the Rare Beauty Nearly Apricot Lip Balm, so it adds a touch of this pink and a nice nourishing lip balm as well. Or I go in with the Kosas Wet Lip Oil in the shade Jellyfish. Since I'm wearing this top and I have that blush on, I think I'm gonna go in with the Rare Beauty one just to coordinate the pinks. And I love that one because it doesn't offer a really intense sheen. It just has this healthy glow that it just looks like you're wearing a lip balm or you're just one hydrated bitch. And then my final optional step is adding a few faux freckles. Today I'm going to forego that step because I like the way my skin looks, but on most days I do add a couple just for fun. And here we have it. This is my current no makeup look. I just love it so much. Everything is naturally enhanced and I always feel so good in this look. But I'd love to know what you guys think, and if you try out this look and post about it, please make sure to tag me because that makes my heart so happy. But that is all for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful. I appreciate you being here so much, and if you did enjoy today's video, please give it a like. It would help me out so very much. I'll make sure to link all of the products I used in the description down below as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Love you. Bye.